All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're decoding something honestly pretty fascinating. We are looking at the architecture of modern influence, specifically how one young woman took a fleeting stint on reality television and engineered it into a multi-million-pound corporate empire. Seriously, if you want to understand modern brand building, you are exactly in the right place.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We're talking about a leap that is, frankly, almost unheard of. I mean, thousands of people go on reality TV, get their 15 minutes of fame, and then just kind of fade away. But Molly-Mae Hague, she took a totally different path. By early 2026, she hadn't just maintained her relevance, she literally accelerated it, making this unprecedented leap to become the youngest titan of British influence and locking down a spot on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. So you kind of have to ask yourself, what actually drives that level of relentless momentum, right? Well, it wasn't just luck. It really comes down to a deep psychological fear of just leading a mundane life. The sheer terror of normalcy was basically her primary rocket fuel. She visualized a future without massive achievements, and that fear pushed her way past the comfort zone that ends up trapping so many others. So let's start with escaping a normal life and making that massive leap to independence. Because, this success definitely wasn't some overnight accident. It was a steady, methodical grind. Growing up in a pretty grounded, disciplined police household in Hitchin, she learned the value of hard work super early. She built up that initial grit working as a local lifeguard. By 17, she was already commuting down to a London fashion academy. And then, at just 18, she made a huge, highly calculated jump to Manchester, which was the strategic hub of the fast fashion industry. There is a quote of hers I absolutely love because it just captures the raw reality of that decision. She literally just did it. It was a bold move, completely without a safety net. Facing the crazy high cost of living, totally alone in a major city, forced her to develop the immense resilience you need to survive. She basically traded immediate comfort for long-term professional ambition. Which brings us to the currency of trust and how you actually build an empire of over 16 million followers. To capture that audience trust, she used a brilliant dual platform strategy. It's a total masterclass. On Instagram, she serves up the aspirational luxury, right? The dream lifestyle, the flawless outfits. But over on YouTube, she totally flips it. She balances that out with deeply relatable vulnerability, showing the messy, unpolished, crappy days that we all have. She actually perfectly summed this up herself, pointing out that while Instagram is a highlight reel, YouTube is where people actually learn to believe in you. This is the absolute secret sauce of her influence. By sharing her personal struggles, her insecurities, and the exhausting behind-the-scenes reality, she completely removes that invisible wall between distant celebrity and trusted friend. It turns passive followers into a fiercely loyal community. And because of that deep connection, her brand alignment is ridiculously strict. She treats the trust of her audience as her literal bottom line. She routinely turns down massive, easy financial payouts if the brand doesn't organically fit her lifestyle. And here's the crazy part. By refusing that easy money, she actually fortified her credibility even more. It's a masterclass in prioritizing long-term brand equity over quick cash grabs. All right, entering the corporate boardroom, moving from creator to high-level strategist. 22. Seriously, think about where you were at 22 years old. At this incredibly young age, Molly-Mae crossed the bridge from just modeling the clothes to actually becoming the creative director of Pretty Little Thing. She took her massive social capital and translated it into real, undeniable corporate authority. When you map out the sheer scale of the MMH Group Holdings empire today, it's wild. We are talking about tens of millions in revenue. She's got her hugely successful cosmetics line Filter by Molly-Mae, her luxury clothing brand Maebe, her executive role at PLT, and heading into 2026, a limited footwear partnership with Adidas. It completely proves that in today's market, having direct, real-world experience and a flawless instinct for what consumers actually want can absolutely trump a traditional university business degree. Taking on that PLT role was a massive responsibility. She wasn't just a face for the brand anymore. She became its internal architect. She brought this unfiltered, digital-first perspective directly into high-level strategic meetings with senior stakeholders, which is exactly what a massive global brand needs to stay relevant to a demanding demographic. Next up, the reversal of perfection and reclaiming personal and visual truth. So this was a highly vulnerable turning point in her career. The pressure of public aesthetic standards is just overwhelming, but she made a really conscious, incredibly brave choice. She rejected that completely manufactured Instagram face trend,
publicly documented the process of dissolving her cosmetic fillers, and reclaimed her natural identity. In doing so, she helped destigmatize the reversal of cosmetic work for literally millions of young women. She once said that she weirdly felt the prettiest she'd ever felt once it was all gone, like she dropped 5 years off her age. And this is so powerful because it wasn't just a beauty choice. It was a brilliant psychological reclamation of her brand's authenticity. Stripping away those artificial layers sparked this huge positive movement among her fans. It proved her audience was actually starving for reality, not curated perfection. The real takeaway for us here is that, honestly, vulnerability and truth are far more powerful tools for influence than any filtered fantasy. True confidence resonates. It just creates a much, much deeper bond with your community. But of course, we have to talk about the true cost of success and privacy in an overshared world. Because extreme fame, it comes with a massive, often hidden tax. A deeply traumatic home burglary served as a permanent turning point for her. It forever changed how she shares her daily life, forcing an immediate, non-negotiable shift to 24/7 close protection security. She basically had to sacrifice the freedom of a normal, spontaneous social life. Her mindset on this shows incredible pragmatism and maturity. It's such a stark contrast to the carefree early days of her career. She learned the hard way that personal privacy is an absolute luxury, and it is an asset she now fiercely, unapologetically protects. Yet despite all the pressures and the security threats, she absolutely refuses to slow down. Even as she balances executive leadership with motherhood and expecting baby number 2 in 2026, her student of the game mindset keeps her constantly pushing for more. For her, the top of the mountain is literally just the starting point for the next climb. So what is the crucial point? What can we, as focused learners, actually take away from her journey? Well, here is the blueprint. Transform your fear of living a mundane life into relentless drive. Cultivate the trust of your audience above all else, because that is your ultimate currency. Master the balance between presenting an aspirational vision and sharing your honest vulnerabilities. And finally, protect your peace, your privacy, and your authenticity at all costs. As you look at your own goals, your own career, or your own business, I want you to ask yourself, are you just building a brand for the short-term applause? Or are you building a lasting legacy that's actually built on a foundation of genuine trust? Think about that. Apply these lessons and go build something extraordinary. Thanks so much for watching this explainer, and I'll see you next time.